now.
Hi everyone, welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show. It's time for Book Talk. Yes, one of our favorite signature segments. And today our special guest is a writer, but also a life and career coach. Today we're going to talk about his new book. It is entitled Your Career Workbook. It is literally a workbook in many ways. So let us now say good morning to Rene Suhardono.
Hi Rene, good morning.
Good morning to you both. Happy to be here.
Yeah, this is Your Career Workbook. I like this little small title here. The manual to a successful career by managing your ego and also practicing
gratefulness.
Gratitude.
That's an interesting outlook.
I know.
When it comes to career, right?
Yeah, that is why. So what are you trying to share here? I know it is a workbook, but also at the same time, it seems that there is a kind of wisdom that you insert in this workbook.
The author gets older. And, as you may have noticed,
yes, over the years.
Over the years, the last time we met, it was more about ambition.
Yeah.
Go get it, go get it, go get it.
Yes.
Now, once you're older and you just feel,
slow down a bit.
oh dear. So it's my way trying to correct things. No, but on serious note, I think what we miss out nowadays is having clarity, and that clarity is one of the biggest issues because we're so distracted.
We are.
We're distracted by this.
Yes.
And one of my mentor, he wonderfully illustrated, what Marisa see, watch, and view in 24 hours compared to what Marisa see and watch pre-gadget time.
Oh, yes.
Say 80 years ago, if you live 80 years ago, what you see and watch throughout your entire life compared to what you see and watch in a day, what you watch in a day now is so much more than what you see and watch throughout your life.
Yes.
80 years of life.
Yeah.
And you can imagine this is the same brain power, but it has been bombarded by so many information, mostly unnecessary. So the idea is, how do we go about distraction? And number two, do we know that the greatest battle is within, which is the battle with our ego?
Yes. So I mean, on ego, right? So what do you see and how is it related to one's success?
That's another interesting part. Once I discovered the true meaning of success. What is success? When I say success, what crosses your mind?
What's your definition of success?
I think my definition of success is probably as simple as feeling contented and peaceful.
Okay.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
What about you?
It used to be money. You used to think in my 20s, I'd be like, well, I get to be successful, you would have to make money. But since I started to have a family, success is happiness for me. If I get through the day happy and I get home, I get to sleep and I'm still fully healthy and my kids
Get simpler,
around,
is it?
I feel like, hey, what's that?
It gets simpler.
A lot simpler, you're right.
And success is, it's derived from a Latin word. The word means succedere. That's the original word, the root word. And succedere means what comes after. As simple as that. So after you work out furiously, and what you get is tired.
Endorphins.
Tired or feeling fresh sometimes?
Yeah. So
that's it.
It's the end result.
It's not something. Success is not something that is distance. It's not something that you wish you have. It's something. It's a consequence. It's no more than a consequence. The question is, consequence of what? So what do you put in? So that's the important part. And sometimes what we put in is ego. And when we put ego...
Give us an example. Give us an example. Especially when we're, it's like when the world is mostly capitalistic, right? It's run by money. I mean, and ego, money is almost like in the same pool,
It is. You want an example. I take it from my own example. Say, I thought the idea of becoming a commissioner, not doing much, getting 80% of the CEO salary.
Right.
That's pretty cool, right?
Right.
And you realize once you're there, so what? There isn't much for it. So ambition is an act of becoming, but what's more crucial is why do you want it in the first place? And not having that clarity is dangerous, you see. And and ego distract you even further. So the idea, before you decide to do anything else, you need to have a dialogue within yourself on why is it important and why is it really important, and you know what costs that you may have to pay in order to get what you think you want.
What you think
what
you
you
want.
think you want.
It's so interesting, right?
Yeah.
To get what you think you want. So.
But it turns out it's not there. You know, a good friend of mine, Devi Sandra, told me that she wished, she said this, very wise lady, she said she was hoping that everyone at some point in time in their life would achieve the kind of popularity and the kind of money that she experienced, to know that that's not the point of life.
Yeah,
that's a good point. It's ironic, isn't it?
It is. It is. So why bother if not being clear about it?
But it's a big challenge now, I guess, Rene, because you know, in social media, I remember having this interaction with a good friend of mine, Ben Kashafani, back then, and he said, you know what, Marissa, what I observe from social media is that it's so hedonistic. It's like, it's a lot of...
See me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like lifestyle, it's all about money, it's all about who's the most, I mean, what sort of status or job position that you have, how much money you have, how much flex thing that you can do. I mean, how do we, this is a real challenge, right? When you're exposed to that constantly, but at the same time, you want to, you know, like implement what you're sharing here.
Yep.
So and how do we get there?
Oh, number one, you need to understand that where you are at this stage. So because ego, I translate ego in this book into, to make it simple, into three aspects. Right. The first one is when you feel you're the most righteous, you're the most right. So no one is better than you, no one can have better answer than you. That's one. Merasa paling benar. Is that the right?
Yes.
Is that even the right?
Yes.
Self-righteous.
Translation. Self-righteous. And the other part is the one that happens a lot, but we don't feel it. We don't feel it to that extent, which is the victim mentality. Is it when you feel that you are victimized? You see, you feel like the world is against you, and you feel. There's no. I mean, pity me. Everybody should.
Poor me.
Poor me.
Yeah. Poor me mentality.
Because victim, the idea of a victim is there are victims, but when you feel like a victim, it's actually a good position to be, because all you need to do is just blame, and you don't need to do anything. You just need to say,
no accountability.
I didn't do this. Somebody did this to me, and nothing can be done.
Right.
You can't grow from that mentality.
Absolutely not. And I put out a story of a lot of prophets which highlight how they are a true victim, but they never feel like one. That's the interesting part. And the third component is when you feel like you're the most useful. It's the most useful. What is pamrih? What's the word in English for pamrih? So it's like you humble brag. So it's like
humble brag. That's interesting. Pamrih.
There's no word in English, is it? But
that would be pretty close, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, when you put in your posting, I'm so humbled having to meet with the CEO. You're not humble.
You're bragging.
You're bragging, and you just want to be seen by the whole world that you're meeting this CEO.
Of course.
You just want to say to the world, I am at par with the CEO.
Right.
But you don't know a better way to say it, so you put it like that.
I'm so blessed to be driving this Mercedes Benz.
There you go. You see.
I'm so blessed to be driving this Tesla.
Something like
that. We all know what you feel is you want the world to know how lucky you are.
Correct.
How you're better than the rest of the world.
And how do you see failure then, Rene?
Failure is tuition.
Failure is?
Tuition. It's just the tuition that you need to pay.
All right.
That's it. No more, no less.
Tuition of life.
So I mean, you don't need to glorify it, but you don't need to see it as the, as the biggest mishap, punishment in your life.
Yeah.
That's how we see it.
It's just a tuition.
Okay.
No,
something
but
that we all need to.
Exactly.
The best learning in my life.
Yeah.
I experienced it through my own failures.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get degrees, But throughout that degrees, if you never feel any failures, if you don't get and experience any failures, you don't learn anything.
And wisdom is gained through failures as well.
Best Michael Jordan commercial that I ever remember back in the 90s was...
Aren't we all?
It listed... it listed all of his failures.
Michael Jordan who?
All of the shots he's ever missed. How many thousand shots? Wow. Not all of his accolades, but all of the things he ever missed. And at the end it says, it's because of all those things that I successful.
That's true. Disney is also Walt Disney, right?
Correct.
Failed so many times. Oprah Winfrey failed so many times. It's just that people don't see this.
No.
It's the people that see them now. It's like, whoa, Disney, whoa, Oprah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a career workbook, and you literally created a workbook. I mean, if we're leafing through this thing, let's find there are spots where do less, stop doing. Okay, this is interesting because usually when you have a workbook, you actually want people to do more.
Yes.
And some of them are basically charts for activities and days that you're supposed to tick off here as well. And we'll get a close-up on that.
Yeah.
Stop doing.
So explain a little bit in regards to these do less and stop doing, but you're actually putting in these worksheets. What
there are things that you need to do more, but there are other things that you need to do less.
Right.
There are things that you need to continue doing, but there are things that you need just stop. But do you observe your activities? Sometimes what you do today is because of what you did yesterday, and what you will do tomorrow is because of what you do today.
Absolutely.
You see, it's just a repeat, and you're losing track of it. And there's this great book, and I recommend you to discuss it with someone who is, I don't know if you can bring in the guy. His name is Nir Eyal.
Nir Eyal.
Nir Eyal. His book is witty. It's called, it influenced me a lot. It's called Indistractable. Indistractable, because he was the one who were basically paid high-level salary by
Indonesian or
no, he's a U.S. US citizen, and he said, I getting a lot of money to distract people because they got paid by Facebook. He's a tech guy.
Okay.
Yes.
So the idea of stickiness, you see, and he was paid handsomely to do just that. And he realized that his relationship with his daughter is he missing out on how she grew. And he said, and I did this to so many people.
Yes.
And I'm experiencing the problem I created in the first place. Yes. So I deconstruct what I did, and I teach this to as many people as possible. So this book is pretty much influenced by Indistractable.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the thing is this, you see, sometimes what we view is this, but in truth, what we view is this, you see. This is the one that's controlling us.
Correct.
This is the one that you got to stop doing. I mean, I'm just showing, this is my screen.
Yeah.
You see, and
that's your home screen.
That's my home screen.
It's very minimalistic.
I limit it because, you know, things that I don't need, I take out.
Yeah.
But I also, I still do social media, but I box it in certain moments in a day. So if I wanna check X, I wanna see IG, I wanna check on my IG responding to people, 30 minutes, that's fine.
Yeah, so
but
you time it.
You time it. That's called time boxing.
Okay.
The idea of stop doing, less doing is time boxing your life. It's
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct.
Oh, that's what this is. Okay,
that's the time boxing.
Yes, the time boxing.
And that is actually also encouraged by this academic Cal Newport, who wrote Digital Minimalism.
Yep.
So he does the same thing basically. Oh, he even did a more radical thing.
Yep.
Which is he doesn't have social media. It's basically what I followed when I read his book. Oh. So yeah. And by the way, when you mentioned that, what's the name of the writer again?
Nir Eyal.
Nir Eyal felt the impact. You know, it's like on kids nowadays. Did you know that Steve Jobs, when he invented iPad, he didn't allow his kids to play
No,
it?
I know this.
So actually the creators of this technology knows how bad it can be, how addictive it can be, and that's why they don't allow their children to do that, and yet they allow other people's children basically to make them more money and more profit.
You know, some context there, it wasn't created for that purpose particularly, but it's a lot of these apps that are trying to get you, since you already have these great gadgets to use. Ironically, it was actually used to help our lives along and make it simpler.
We spend, as a nation, we Indonesian spend more than 42% of their waking hours
That's almost
On
half
social
the
media,
that's
or-
Number one in the world. The 4 screen. There's
Oh, yeah,
TV.
the screen.
The 4 screen. So we're like pretty much glued. We're number one in the world. Next to us, below us is Philippines, and then China. So you
I wonder
can-
where Singapore is.
I need to check.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're the top. We're top of the list.
Yeah.
But that also entails a lot of issues which Marisa just mentioned. I mean, the other day I was at the mall.
Yeah.
I was looking at a table. There's this dad, mom,
Kids.
3 kids. Everybody is doing this.
They're
Then
not
when I saw the mirror, it's my family.
No.
I mean, that's me. And I was like,
No.
and I was like,
Rene!
guys, stop. What are we doing here?
Oh my God.
You see, even I'm not immune. I'm not immune. I keep on saying this, but
Oh my God.
I'm also having problems. I feel that problems.
And that's somebody who's aware.
You see, the other cool guy is called Kambis Maani.
Right.
And he said the biggest problem of the 21st century is connection.
Yes.
It's connection
I
among
agree.
people.
Yeah.
It's connection with self,
Yeah.
connection with the Creator.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And what about this other small title here that you say, which is practicing gratitude? Practicing gratitude and its connection to success, whatever that
Yeah,
means
our
for you.
career, basically.
When I discovered the true meaning of shukur, which is in English loosely translated as gratefulness, it's I was baffled. I mean, I was like, whoa, I did not know that. When I say shukur, what crossed your mind?
Oh, for me, it's a feeling. It's like a relief.
I was just going to say the same word,
Breathe.
relief. Like
Yeah.
a relief that, okay, things are the way, things are still going well for me.
Yes.
For example, my health. I've still got my health at this
Yeah,
age. for
yeah.
example.
This is the interesting part. Shukur is Indonesian word, but taken from Arabic word.
Correct.
The Arabic word, the etymology of the Arabic word is very interesting. It's called shakara.
Shakara.
Shakara is a situation. Arabic is very descriptive. It's a very visual language, and it explains a situation where, in the most dry season, kemarau, in the most difficult time,
okay.
you cannot find anything greens. All you can find is just a handful of grass, the jerami, the hay.
Oh, hay.
And the hay you give it to your livestock, give it to your I don't know,
Goats,
cow, and the
cows.
cow produce a lot of milk.
Yeah.
And the Arab would say, shakara. So it is an action. It is not just a feeling.
Right.
You need to act upon it. Because when you are given less
Yes.
and you give more,
Yes.
that's shukur. So if you're bersyukur, if you're grateful,
Yeah.
then it should not just be in your lips. It should not be just in your mind. But you got to do something
Give
about
us an
it.
example. How could we translate that to our daily life?
I think,
instead of just
I
being
think I have an example
Okay,
from
go
my
ahead.
family. I don't know if this is
Sure.
correct, Rene. My grandpa, he came from a poor background. And I still remember my mom told me he only had 500 rupiah at that time in his celengan. What was it? Like his
piggy
saving, yeah, piggy bank, yeah. But at that time, when his friend needed money, he gave that last
That's shukur.
500.
That is.
That is shukur.
Okay.
That is shukur. I mean, you're well taken care of. Not by other human, but by your Creator. But do you feel that way? Or is it you do life, you run life, you make decision in life because of what you want, or what your ego wants, what your ego dictates? Or this is good for me, that is bad for me. I see it. I see a lot of instances in my life. Something that I feel this is the best thing that can ever happen to me, turns out to be really bad. And the opposite, something that is I dislike so much, I do it half-heartedly, but it turns out to be the greatest thing for me. So shukur, put your mind in perspective and put it at ease. Everything has already been taken care of. So what you need to do is take care of others. Do more for others.
Yeah, yeah.
So instead of focusing on what you can get
Yeah.
out of this situation, out of this work, out of this job, out of this business, think of what you can really give.
Wow, I mean, this is also connected to actually the science of psychology as well.
It is,
I mean,
absolutely.
being grateful,
Abundance.
gratitude, abundance.
Abundance mentality.
also
That's all.
Giving, and also actually spending money on people. Apparently, this is according to, I listened to this podcast by Dr. Lori Santos. She's a Yale professor on the science of well-being.
Right.
And then she says, basically, when we give to other people, when we spend money on other people, it gives us a lot of joy. And I tried doing that. I was like, oh yeah, actually, it's because of the sharing
Very
feeling.
true.
It's the sharing, right?
And not everyone can do that, especially when it comes to your last 500 rupiah,
Yes.
right? Because that's the true test.
Yes.
You know? And one of the things that I was leafing through here as well is, and you alluded to it earlier, is stripping away the outside to reveal your true self. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Here's the problem. When I ask somebody, do you know yourself? Absolutely, I know myself. I took MBTI. I'm an INFJ. I'm a choleric. I'm a sanguine.
ISTG.
You see, and I was like, that's not knowing self. Because if you look at the word, you know, personality test.
Yes.
Yeah. Myers-Briggs.
It derived from a word persona. What is persona, Marissa?
What is persona?
Persona means mask.
Oh,
so it is
really?
the science of mask. It explains your mask.
Right.
So it's not about you. So when I always having problem meeting this young chap who keep on saying, you know, my boss is useless. Why is your boss useless? Because he knows based on my MBTI that I'm introverted, and yet he asked me to meet people. And I said, you're the one who's silly. I mean, it's the idea of personality test is to help you gauge on yourself, but not
label yourself.
To label yourself and to tell the world, hey world,
this is
understand me.
This is my excuse.
No.
Where I am. Right.
No. So the idea of knowing self is about, you know, skinning yourself. Because there's so many layers.
It can be very difficult though, Rene.
It is
It
tough.
can be so scary to put a mirror in front of yourself.
That's why we can meet old people, a 60 years old people, a 50 years old guy, who still haven't figured out who he is.
Yeah.
Why?
I think that's
because
a long life
mask.
Yeah, that is a lifelong thing,
process.
right?
And they use profession as mask.
Right.
You see, and I have this issue. I know this BUMN, I'm not supposed to say this, but I don't care. But because there are a lot of, you know, you're being branded as Bapak Dirut, Bapak Komut. That's not you. That's your jabatan.
That's your title.
That's your title, Pak Menteri. No. Bu Marissa is correct. That's precise. Even better. Marissa.
Right.
But stop calling people by title. It reinforces their ego. And the one who will be talking to you is their ego. And their ego will be responded by your ego. So it's ego talk to each other.
Wow.
And you know, it clouded everything.
It's very true.
It's a simple problem, but you make it like a hell of a problem. When if it is a hell of a problem, it's beyond solving. Why? Ego.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, as we get older, right, all of these jabatan, what do you call it?
The titles, job
the
titles.
titles, positions, or whatever, attributions, when we're older, it doesn't matter anymore.
Less.
What matters is actually the person.
And that's why all the best people in power that we notice the most and we find relatable are the ones that don't actually use their actually.
That's the idea of soft power. Because soft power indicates that wherever you are, what position you hold, you're still you. You see, you can meet a former minister and he could just easily ride a bike, no issue, and he doesn't need to be addressed by Pak Menteri or Pak Mantan Menteri. You see?
Do we do that, Pak Mantan Menteri? Really?
Some people do.
Some people do.
Right.
And here's another interesting. I learned so much by learning the meaning of words. Profession. What does it mean?
A job.
Profession is a Greek word, professio. You know what professio means? It's a promise you make to the public.
It's a promise we make to the public.
Yes, it is a promise that you need to fulfill to the public. So when you say that I'm a broadcaster, I'm an anchor.
Responsibility is there.
It is mostly responsibility beyond prestige. Before, you can claim it as prestige.
Wow.
But how are you fulfilling the promise?
Gosh. So fascinating. Renee,
anyway.
I think...
Wow. Okay, so obviously it says Career Workbook. It's for everyone. People who are perhaps just starting out their career, or those that have been in the career for years.
People who are too lazy to read properly.
And write as well, by the way.
I hope, No, seriously.
Amazing.
This is a workbook where you can pretty much get to know yourself, manage your ego, all that jazz. So get this book. It's Your Career Workbook. This is not just a regular Your Career Workbook, as we found out by talking to Rene just then. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Rene.
Thank you
Always
so much,
happy to
Rene.
see you guys.
What a great
Thank you,
conversation
appreciate that.
indeed, and we hope you found it just as enlightening as we did. We're going to take a short break here on the program, but we still have much more coming up next. We have some of the latest world headlines. Stay with us here on the C Morning Show, only on C Today. We'll be right back.
This is great. Thank you.